The Tokyo Olympic Games are finally here. Borrman is covering the Olympics with his favorite sports, soccer, both men and women's, golf, and tennis. This package runs from the first women's soccer match kicking off on July 21st through the men's final on August 7th, and you'll get every pre-release from Borrman for the duration of the package. As a free bonus, you will also receive all MLS plays as well as 2 other PGA Tour events. Get 18 days of all sports action for just over $5 per day.
Hey guys, Carmine Bianco, WagerTalk.com with another edition of Stoppage Time. The Euros are over, Copa America's over, but there's still the Gold Cup going on, and MLS returns this weekend with a full slate of games. We're going to go over 4 games, a couple Gold Cup games that go tonight, and a couple MLS games that go on the weekend. To cover them with me from Sportsmemo, it is Pavlos Laguretos, and from WagerTalk.com, Nick Borrman and Kevin Dolan. Let's bring them in. And guys, before we get into any of these games that we're going to cover today, how about my Azzurri, the Italian team, winning the Euros 12-1? I'm pretty happy about that. A crazy final. Kev, I'm going to go to you first because I know you probably have a few things to say about that finals game with the 3 Lions.
Yeah, I do. And look, for anyone watching, no, it's not Dave Coken. I have a stay in my left eye and it's really bothering me. So hence the sunglasses. Probably firmly lay the blame actually watching those English penalties on Sunday. But, you know, I had a mini ticket, mini futures on Italy, but obviously it would have been a lot better if we had catch the English side of the play. That was the 5% final. And it was a shame because we're actually on a good 7-2 run approach in the final. But, you know, in terms of the penalties, I think Saka's blameless. Just where the pressure was at that stage. I don't blame him at all. Sancho, I'm kind of in the middle of it, but I thought Rashford's penalty is quite funny because it kind of sums up Twitter to a degree, with the people, you know, having a go at him. You know, they're bringing out the racist diatribe and all that, which is obviously, you know, we don't want to see any of that. But, you know, the people defending him equally on the other side, you know, even though they're on the right side, they're like bringing out pictures of turkeys and look what he's done for food banks and all that, which, don't get me wrong, that's fantastic. But neither side has anything to do with the penalty, which I thought it was really poor. You know, he's brought on to do one job. At that time as well, England were in the ascendancy in the penalties. Italy had missed one at that point. And it's just the way he ran up it and he did his little shimmy and his twist. And I was like, come on, man, you can't be missing that. So yeah, I mean, Rashford, a little bit irksome, but you know, overall, look, it was a fantastic tournament, and you know, I really hope we can bring that, you know, 7-2 nice little run that we finished with into the MLS and the European domestic seasons, which are, you know, just a few weeks away, obviously.
Yeah, they're right around the corner, and yeah, the penalties. You know, a lot has been said. Nick, I'm going to go to you next on this one about, you know, Southgate and you know, the 5 people that he put out there, and obviously starting with your most experienced and probably the best player on the team, Harry Kane, and then ending with your one of your youngest players and someone who has never taken a kick at the professional level, a penalty kick at the professional level, with Bukayo Saka taking that penalty. You know, bringing on guys off the bench with a couple of minutes left in extra time. They haven't really had a chance to get into the flow of the game, get some passes in, and all of a sudden they're thrust into the spotlight of taking a pressure-filled penalty kicks. It probably wasn't, and you know, I'll give Southgate credit. He took the blame on this one, but I was a little baffled by at least the last 3 guys he put out there to take those kicks.
First of all, I'm very intimidated by Kevin and his glasses right now. So I just want to throw that out there, that it's hard for me to think on my feet because Kevin is very intimidating. That being said, it's easy to sit here and say Southgate made the wrong choice because they lost. And, you know, in hindsight, yeah, probably would have been better to bring them in, I don't know, at least 10 minutes prior just to get their legs going and get them in the game a little bit. However, if they make those and they win the thing, then Southgate looks like the smartest manager, you know, alive. So it's one of those choices you make and you live with it. And like you said, Carm, kudos to him for dealing with it. But We move on. Looking forward to the Gold Cup, a little MLS action. So a little bit of a break, a little slower for a month as we try to get prepped and ready for the Euro seasons.
Yeah, and Pavlos, I'm going to give you the last word on this, but I'm just going to say this is, Southgate did, he was questioned throughout this tournament on a lot of his lineups that he put out there, on players who he started, and they made it to the finals. They got to where they were supposed to get. They just couldn't complete it. But when you look at what happened in the finals, it sort of it highlights some of the things that happened on earlier in the tournament, like against the Czech Republic, where in the second half of a game where they were leading 1-0 at halftime, their XG number was 0.00. They registered 0 attempts on goal, 0 shots on goal. And then this game against, obviously, the game against this Italy team, it was theirs to win. The first 15, 20 minutes, they could have put that game away, scored the first goal, didn't really attack after that 15-minute mark, and they allowed the Italians to get back into the game, establish midfield with Verratti and Jorginho and Barella. And from that point forward, Italy was the better team. I'm not just saying it because I had the Azzurri, but they were by far, and everything you've read since, even from the English supporters, were that Italy were the better team from about the 25-minute mark on. So it leaves, it's going to be a summer for this team, where a lot's going to be said about this team. What do you think?
I think justice was served on that day. I think that England, and I think most of us think that England was pushed to the final without, weird penalty against Denmark. I'd like to say that Greece still have more Euros than England. We have one, they have none. And I told you guys, it's not coming home, it's going to Rome. So I guess, Italy were the better team throughout the entire tournament. I think they deserved it, fair and square. They won it. I'm not so sure what Southgate was doing, throwing a 19-year-old guy to shoot the most crucial penalty kick. I mean, you have Henderson, you have Grealish. What are you thinking? I mean, I really don't know. Rashford was playing the entire tournament with a slight injury. I think it was on his shoulder, but still he was not 100%. He subbed in Rashford and Sancho at the very last minute. You guys made some great points about them not getting enough time, to warm up properly in that match. So of course they all missed, and all hell broke loose. I mean, players they went after fans. They went after the players. Others went after the coach. I mean, the Englishmen, they really wanted the Euro to come home, but I think that Southgate made some terrible decisions, and that's what cost them. So I'm really glad that Italy won that. I mean, they played better soccer, the best soccer maybe in the entire tournament. So justice was served that day, as well as in the Copa America final. I mean, Argentina won. I had Argentina to win the title, to win the trophy. I didn't like what Brazil did. They were also pushed at the final in the game against Peru, I think. So yeah, I think that after all that transpired, justice was served in both competitions.
Yeah, it was a great tournament nonetheless. A lot of standout performances in it, and it just sets it up for next November in Qatar, where we get to see the 2022 World Cup being played, and it should be a good one. I think first time we've ever seen, it is actually the first time we've ever seen a World Cup played in November and December. So that should be a good one. We're not too far away from that, just a little over a year. There's still one tournament going on, guys. So this is what we're going to talk about. It's the Gold Cup. These games are being played across North America. A couple of games that are going tonight, and these are the ones we're going to discuss. We're going to discuss the Canada-Haiti game and the Martinique USA game. Both those games go tonight, and then we'll talk about a couple MLS games that go on Saturday. So let's kick it off. Right off the bat there, Canada and Haiti. Haiti is plus 800 in this game. The draw is plus 333. Canada is minus 300. The total is 2.75, which is a split line of 2.5 and 3. And if we're looking at goal lines here, Canada is minus 1.5 goals. Pavlos, I'm going to go to you right back to you on this one. I'm going to go to you first on this one. A little bit of history between Canada and Haiti. Canada, a very good record, 9-2-2 versus Haiti. They come off a 2-game, 4-0 aggregate win over Haiti in World Cup qualifying. And you look at this, obviously, we're living in a world now with this where COVID plays havoc on rosters. Haiti team was missing 5 players in their last game against their opening 1-0 loss against the USA. A couple more players added to that list, 7 players missing from this roster. Give us your thoughts on this game.
Yeah, Haiti, I think they were flattered by the slim 1-0 loss to USA. USA, they played much better. They had a couple of shots hit the crossbar. I think the extent of their loss could have been greater. They allowed USA to create 13 scoring chances, and 5 of those were shots on target. Well, Haiti themselves, they had 10 scoring chances and 3 shots on target. But yeah, as you said, Carmine, there are 7 players, at least that we know of, that have been diagnosed with COVID. They turned in positive tests. So it's really unclear if any more players are ruled out. But even if they were at the full force, they can't match Canada right now. Even if Canada, they're missing 2 of their best players, Davis and from Bayern Munich and David from Lille. But they still have a great team. They did have a weird start in the match against Martinique. They conceded the first goal in the 10th minute, but then they went on to score 3 goals between the 16th and the 26th minute, and they scored another goal at the end of the match to win by 4-1. In the World Cup qualifiers, Canada, indeed, they won both matches with clean sheets, but they had both Davis and David in those 2 matches. So the way that I look at this match is taking the under, either the under 2.5 goals if you want to go for a little extra juice, or the under 2.75 goals. And the reason is this: Canada, they grabbed 6 yellow cards in the match against Martinique, and if any of those players gets a second yellow card, they're gonna miss the next match, which is against USA. So I believe that Canada, they will rotate their squad. They'll try to protect those players. And I think that we'll see a low-scoring match here. Maybe Canada to win by 2-0, which goes at, let me see here. The odds have changed a little bit. Canada to win by 2-0. Come on, where is it? Plus 500. I like that. I think that will safeguard the defense. Haiti, they're not one of the most, offensive teams out there. Yes, they have some good results, I guess, but those were against a win against Nicaragua, Turks and Caicos, Belize. I mean, those are really, really low skilled teams. Canada have a much better team, so I think Canada will win this. But I don't like Canada to. I don't think we'll see a high scoring match. Maybe Canada cover the plus minus 1.5 goals. But I think I like the under here, 2.75 goals. That's the way to go.
Yeah, listen, I agree with you, Pavlos, on looking at the under. You know what I mean? Like, well, they had 2 very good. They have a good record against them. 2 good games in World Cup qualifying. Again, as you highlighted, there are players missing. Obviously, Jonathan David, big part of this team, along with Alphonse Davies, who is dealing with I think it's a strained or a ligament tear. So he's going to miss some time for Bayern Munich as well too. Nick, thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of echo of Pavlos' sentiments. The Canadian team is on the rise, I guess you could say. They're going to get better and better. They're getting they have a pretty strong lineup. They still have Larin, who plays for Besiktas in Turkey, who's a great goal scorer. Their midfield's made up of basically Toronto FC's team. They also have LAFC's Marquet on there. So they got a solid core in the middle, a couple players from Portugal's Primeira Liga and the defense. I had to look up Haiti's roster. I mean, half their team is made up of like the second and third tier in France, and then a couple small leagues like Armenia, Cyprus, Romania. I don't know any of their names, so I was like, who are these guys? But I mean, it's clear that the talent level's on the Canadian side. Yeah, we already talked on Canada beat Haiti twice in June, and it's pretty easy to think we're going to see a repeat of that. Haiti did a decent job in their first match against USA. keeping it close there. And I actually took Haiti +2, but it wasn't a play on Haiti as much as it was a fade against the USA. And, I'll explain that later as we get into the USA game. But to me, Canada should win this game. You can lay the goal and a half. I think it's okay. You can pair Kev's favorite play. Hopefully I'm not stealing the words from him, with Canada and under 3.5 goals. You're getting either even money or just a little bit of plus money. So either of those, I think, are pretty safe plays in this game.
Yeah, I like that one. The Kev play, as you call it. Yeah, I used it a couple times. Teams during the Euros win to nil. It's usually not something that's in my repertoire of plays that we'll put out. This one's the field for this one will be a good one. This one's at Children's Mercy Park in Kansas City, where Sporting KC plays. So it should be a good one. We've seen some weather issues throughout this Gold Cup. With weather. I think last night's game at the Cotton Bowl, the Mexico game delayed because of bad weather, and we saw another game delayed for about an hour because of thunderstorms and bad weather. So hopefully a little better tonight, and we can keep this one going. We're going to bring in Kevin later on with the MLS games, so we're going to jump right to the second game, which is the USA Martinique. This one's got quite the slanted line here, but we're still going to talk about it because we need a game to talk about on here. USA -1,600. The draw is +800. Martinique +2,500. The total is 3.5. But let's throw out the goal line here. This is probably what we're going to discuss is USA is -2.75 goals, which is a split line of 2.5 and 3. So if you're betting $100 on the US at 2.75, half your bet is on 2.5, half your bet is on 3. Nick, I'm going to go right back to you on this one. This USA team, obviously, players missing from them. Christian Pulisic of Chelsea, Sergino Dest of Barca, Juventus's Weston McKennie, all back with their teams, getting a little bit of rest and getting ready for the European season. So this is a largely based MLS side that we're seeing here for this USA team. Can we lay almost 3 goals with this team?
No, I don't think so. I don't see any value in doing it anyway. You nailed it on the head. And what most people, I don't think, at least in that first game, didn't really realize was that this is not the Team USA that, just beat Mexico in the Nations League last month, and not the team that, has a lot of hope for it. You mentioned some players missing. Josh Sargent's not here. My buddy Giovanni Reyna from Dortmund's not on the team. The list is pretty substantial of who would normally be on the team but is not there. It's basically MLS stars. Half of them have decent international experience, and the other half, it's 11 guys that have 5 games or less, including 5 guys that are making their international debut. So, it's a lot of players that have not played together before, and I think they'll get better as the tournament goes on and they get, some minutes with each other. But especially in that first game and in this game, I don't see a lot of reason to lay a goal line like this. Should they win the game? I would think so. Martinique still is, a tiny little nation and doesn't really belong in this type of a competition, but I can't lay 2 3/4 goals with them. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. What I do think could happen, though, is that they win 2-0. Maybe they do win 3-0, but again, not a lot of value there. I like the under. I don't think Martinique's going to get many chances. Even in that game against Haiti, they did a good job defensively. I just don't see them really gelling offensively for a little while, and maybe they'll get, like I said, they'll get better as we go. But I think if you're going to play a thing in here, I would avoid the side, but I think under is pretty decent because I think Martinique's going to struggle to get many opportunities.
Yeah, and I get it. And while you would never want to lay a price like this, Pavlos, you look at we've talked about, and I just talked about it earlier, of playing teams to win to nil. You've got the USA here who are -1,600 in this game. You just can't lay that price. You're either laying the goal line or you're passing on the game. Or you could take the USA to win the game and both teams not to score, but even that is pretty pricey at about -275. Thoughts on this?
Call me crazy, guys, but I love Nick's pick on the under.
Crazy.
However, I look at the odds on both teams to score. I'm going against you, Karen, but the lines are so all over the place where I think there's value, at least in my perspective, on both teams to score at plus 240. Martinique, they scored against Canada. Of course, they're winless in their last 6 matches, and they've won just 1 of their last 8. They're all competitive matches. But they only failed to score twice. Of course, they scored against Honduras, against Trinidad and Tobago, twice against Mexico. They scored twice against Mexico. Of course, that was back in 2019. We don't have a lot of data on Martinique, but I mean, if I'm gonna go on this match, I'm gonna take the both teams to score with a small stake bet on plus 240. Maybe the 1-1 draw. I mean, I don't trust this USA side at all. You guys made some great points. This is, of course, their B, maybe their C team. Of course, when the World Cup comes next year, I think we'll see a very, very promising side with all those players back. I mean, they must have like an entire starting 11 that is unavailable in this tournament. And I get it. I mean, they're all playing in top tier leagues, and they want to get protected. They want to have a decent preseason and some rest. So I do get it, but I don't think that the USA will go far in this tournament. I don't think that they'll lose Martinique. Maybe we'll see a draw. I don't know. But I like both teams to score here. I mean, that's what I like.
Well, you're really laying it out there. A possible draw and Martinique. I just think, I was able to, while I was in Vegas for the Euro semifinals and finals, watching it there, I did catch the Canada-Martinique game. The first goal was a Canadian miscue. I just don't see how they score in this game. But this we'll agree to disagree on this one, Pavlos, as far as that goes. Guys, before we head into the... Yeah, absolutely.
I want to interject. I'm sorry. I just wanted to say I just happened to quick look at the line. It did move to +3 now, or so a full 3 goals. So I mean, at this point, I would say the value is on the Martinique side too. The USA, you're right. Martinique probably doesn't score, but I don't know if USA is going to put down 4. So it might be a play on Martinique at this point. Sorry, I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of slanted goal line or scores. We have seen some, like 3-0 Mexico last night, but they were a 3-goal favorite. We've seen they've been close for the most part. Obviously, with a lot of these teams, you look at the Mexico team, it's not the normal full-side Mexico team. Some of the players are getting ready for the Olympics as well too. So we're seeing quite a few players across the rosters of a lot of the big teams missing for this tournament. Guys, before we get into the MLS games, we have a show promo. You can use coupon code GOLD100, that is GOLD100, and you'll get $100 off a 30-day soccer all-access package. That's a package that normally goes for $199. You'll get every play for the next 30 days, which leads us right into the first weekend of European play, which is obviously the EPL and Bundesliga kick off on August 13th. So you'll get plays right into that first weekend. Gold 100 to get $100 off that $199 package. All right, boys, MLS, 2 games. Let me tell you, I'm a little excited about the first one. And the reason for that is, and I'll give you the odds first on it. Toronto +168. The draw is +287. Orlando +139. And the total is at 3 for this game. Why am I a fan of this game off the bat? Well, it's the return to BMO. 2 years almost in the making, where Toronto will, they've been playing most of their games in Florida because of the pandemic. They're returning home to play at BMO Field on Saturday. It'll be in front of 7,000 fans, and then that will be doubled to 14,000 fans for their Wednesday game. It's the return of Josie Altidore. He'd been training away from the team. And Kev, I'm going to go to you first on this one. Obviously, a feud with Armis, who's now since been fired. He's probably one of the worst managers Toronto's ever had. I've been a season ticket holder since day one for this team. They really regressed, but Armis is gone. Altidore's back. They're in front of their home fans, and the last game these two teams played was a pretty good one. 4 goals in the first half, 2-2 at halftime. Orlando went on to win 3-2. Give me your thoughts on this one.
Well, in terms of the side, I don't really have a strong opinion for all the factors you mentioned. I think if I was playing this game, it would be on the total. The goal line is set at 3 right now. It's shaded to the over pretty heavily as well. That looks high, despite both teams' goals for and against and their head-to-head record, along with the amount of individual errors that Toronto in particular clocks up as well. 3 looks like a doable number for me in terms of the under here. Defensively, both teams rank top half in terms of total shots allowed per game. Toronto are 7th best at home, while Orlando are 5th best on the road. And offensively, neither team are setting the world alight, on underlying shot count or overall XG either this season. Nick did a great job on the XG table. He sent over yesterday. It clearly shows both of these teams offensively are mid-table teams. While Toronto's overall shot count is 26th at home this season, with Orlando ranking 17th on the road as well. That kind of shows you that both of these teams have simply unsustainable shots to conversion ratio right now. And that's something I usually like to oppose, especially now we're 12 games into the season. The one big issue I have, obviously, are those individual errors I mentioned earlier, especially for Toronto. I mean, what was it? Like a minute into the game against DC United a couple of weeks ago, ball gets crossed flat into the box, bypasses about 4 Toronto defenders before Paredes gets a foot in it. Ukrainian-style defending and into the back of the net. So, that kind of defending or obvious lack thereof would be a major concern, especially when you're looking to back and under. But at 3 and potentially getting an under 3.25 on side also, I think that's priced up at around minus 130 over Pinnacle. That looks like a play for me, and I'm happy enough with the underlying data to take a shot with the under here on Saturday between Orlando and Toronto.
All right, Nick, Pavlos, I'll go to you next on this one because I know you're a big MLS fan. I believe you're the Toronto's hated rivals, the Seattle Sounders, is your team, but give us your thoughts on this one.
Yeah, no grats there. I love Toronto. I mean, I like their team for quite a few years. I know it must sound crazy for a Sounders fan, but there's no hate here. However, I feel bad for Toronto and what they've done this season. I mean, they're sitting at the bottom of the Eastern Conference. They have by far the worst defense in the entire MLS with 29 conceded goals in 12 matches. But as you said, they fired the head coach. Altidore is back. I don't know if he's going to start, but he's probably going to get minutes. And it was clear that Toronto, after that 7-1 massive loss to DC United, they were on bounce back mode, and they did that against the leaders of the Eastern Conference. They scored 3 first half goals at New England. Of course, on the second half, they weren't as good. They conceded twice, and they were in danger of being equalized, but they held on to the results, and it was a hard-fought win in a very tough venue. So I think that this Toronto side will get better and better now with a more stable situation in the coach department, and with Jose Altidore, who is a talismanic striker for this team. I think they'll be much better, and I think the odds are they don't do them justice. Of course, the price on the Toronto win keeps falling and falling in the past few hours. So it might be a good time to jump on that. Maybe take Toronto to win at plus, I think it's 145-ish right now. I would see this match going over the total. Kevin made some great points. I don't know how Toronto's defense will shape up after the change in coach. They did concede 2 goals against New England. Orlando City, they've been quite good on the road. They played 6 matches. 5 of those had goals from both sides, and they've only lost twice: 3-1 against Chicago and 2-1 against the Red Bulls. And Toronto. Actually Orlando. They might have beaten Toronto twice this season. 1-0 at home and 2-3 in this not in this venue. Wherever Toronto was playing. But that was their only win as visitors against Toronto. Toronto, over the years, they had 4 wins and 2 draws prior to that loss. And I think the timing is great to jump on Toronto here at plus 150.
Yeah, listen, I tend to agree with you. Nick, I'm going to go to you next on this one. Sometimes those managerial changes can do a lot for a team. And listen, I as one who follows this Toronto team, obviously as a season ticket holder, I can tell you this team, even bringing in imports, this team was the same team it was the past couple of years that competed. Pozuelo missed a good portion of the beginning of the season, and obviously an injury to Altidore, but Altidore is healthy. Pozuelo is now back and healthy. I think they'll both be in the lineup, but this team, maybe that 3-2 is a game is a signaling of turning the corner and maybe a change in philosophy. Sometimes when you're losing games under a new system and a new manager, it just doesn't come together. And then he's gone, and they look much better in their last game, I must say. Even though, as Pavlos stated, they had to hold on in that game to secure that 3-2 win.
I don't agree with you guys on this one. I think Orlando is the play here. Toronto, against that New England game, yeah, they won 3-2, and obviously that's all that matters at the end of the day. But they were double up in shots, or damn near 21-11 by New England. New England generated 2.5 expected goals compared to 1.05 for Toronto. I mean, New England clearly was creating a lot more chances in the game. I only caught it in the second half, and that was where they were doing that more so. But you also have the fact that Toronto is missing, 4 key players here for Gold Cup action. Basically, all their midfield, I mentioned that already, that play on the Canadian national team are out of here. Osorio, Akinola, Laurier. And they changed their manager. Like you said, Carmine, that does often, produce a boost, and they were able to generate that win. And who knows what the Altidore factor is going to be now that he's returned to training and probably plays in this game. But I think there's just too many question marks, too many ifs. And to get this as a pick'em where you don't have to worry about a draw on Orlando, who's already beat Toronto twice this year. And, I have Orlando circled as a team that's ready to compete and make a deep run into these playoffs. I think it's decent value to take the away side here, Orlando, on a pick'em price. I probably wouldn't be comfortable laying the 3-way money line just because I do think, Toronto could at least sneak out a draw, but I think the 2-way pick'em line is a little safer to go, but I like Orlando.
All right, Nick Borrman of WagerTalk.com. Guys, we're going to head into the final game of this segment, Columbus and New York. The odds on this one, Columbus plus 149. The draw is plus 242. New York plus 194. And the total is at 2.5. Nick, I'm going to come right back to you on this one first. Obviously, the big miss here for this Columbus team, who are over the years have been a very good home team, and they're unbeaten thus far at home, 3 wins, 2 draws through 5 games. But Zardes not in the lineup for this team as he's with the U.S. men's national team for the Gold Cup. Give me your thoughts on this one.
Yeah, that's important to know. He is their playmaker, and they have a total of 5 guys missing, 3 starters, their keeper 2, which, I don't put too much stock into that because usually the next guy coming in is going to be decent enough. But 5 total guys missing, 3 starters, 2 pretty important subs or role players, and highlighted by Zardes. So it's, for a team like Columbus that has been struggling this year to create chances and score, it just has a lot more of the same kind of question marks. Like, well, now how are they going to do it? And for the defending champion to be where they are, as far as, if you look at the expected goal market, they're the only team in the league that fails to generate at least 1 expected goals per game. They're at 0.85. Their defense has still been good and doing what they've always done. And, that's the big reason they've been good in the past, but they are just spinning the wheels right now offensively. And I don't see that getting better right away, especially with all these absences going on. Bradley Wright Phillips possibly still missing for this game as well. He's missed the last 5 with injury. I don't think he's going to be back. So just another important player that's not on the field for them. On the flip side, New York City, they have the second best expected goal differential in the league, plus 0.75 per game. They're averaging 1.74, allowing less than 1 at 0.99 expected goals allowed. They're missing their keeper and 1 midfielder, but that's it. And they have just, a lot less to compensate here for than Columbus does. I lean to the under as far as the total goes, just because I think Columbus is going to struggle to score. But I like New York City even more on kind of similar to Orlando on the pick'em price. I think they have a much better chance to win this game than they do to lose it, and you can be safe here and not have to worry about the draw at this pick'em price. This one, I might be more adventurous and throw a little something on the 3-way money line, but either way, I like New York City as the side here.
All right, and I like your play or your lean to the under. New York last season, 12 games, 13 goals for, 12 against. So essentially, their totals were landing, or their average was just a tad over 2 goals per game. And with some scoring missing for that Columbus side, Pavlos, you would have to think that over 2.5, it might be a struggle to get over that number.
Yeah, the thing is that me personally, I take into account a lot of the history in this head-to-heads, especially in the MLS. I mean, no matter what the circumstances, there are some matchups that they produce a similar results. No matter what the circumstances, no matter who is missing, no matter where they're playing. So when I look at this matchup, when they play at Columbus, they played uh, 9 matches. Let me get they played 9 matches. Columbus have won 5 times. They've lost just once, and 3 were draws. So 8 of those 9 matches, they produced goals from both sides and at least over 2.5 goals. And I'm mentioning just a few scorelines: 3-1, 2-2, 2-1, 4-1, 2-3, 3-3, 3-2, 2-2. So I might sound like a crazy person, but I personally take into consideration a lot of this what happens historically between the two sides. So I'm personally between the over 2.5 goals and the both teams to score. The price on both teams to score is not great, but it also covers the under that you guys like. So I think I'm gonna take the both teams to score here.
All right, both teams to score. I'm not going to say you're crazy. We'll leave the final word up to Kevin Dolan of WagerTalk.com on that one. But it has been a series where I think in their history, dating back to 2015, which is almost 20 games, I believe, the away team has only come away with full points in 3 of those contests. Kev, give me your thoughts on this one in the last word.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree with Nick. I love seeing them. I love seeing those words. I would go. I have a play on the total in this game, so I'm just going to talk about the side here. But I like the Columbus Crew here off scratch at home here on Saturday for all those head-to-head reasons. You said, granted the Crew are on a 4-game winless run right now, but yeah, I don't know. New York just haven't impressed me this season. Yes, they scored in all their games. That is impressive, but defensively, I thought they were sloppy against New England a few weeks ago. Again against Montreal last time out as well. Keaton Park's in good form right now for New York, so Columbus definitely have their work cut out there. But Columbus are just a hard team to beat. They're unbeaten in the last 7 at home. They showed a ton of grit and character, in my opinion, against New England and Cincinnati recently. They went 2-0 down in both of those games before coming back to draw. So, I think they can hang tough here, look to grind out a result. And, if I had to pick a side, it would be Columbus. 8 of the last 10 head-to-heads between these two have been won by the home side as well. I like that to continue here. So, if I'm taking a side in this one, it's definitely be Columbus +0 on the handicap.
All right, there you go, guys. 2 Gold Cup games, 2 MLS games. We're going to be back on Tuesday. We will likely cover the Gold Cup again, maybe some Wednesday MLS games that are going next week, and then we're going to start putting together our European preview. The seasons, like I said, are less than a month away. We'll do something where we give away where we give our futures bets and plays for the season, where you guys can tune in and get some good future bets in on teams to finish top 4, win the leagues, or get relegated. I know the guys love those teams to get relegated picks. Don't forget the promo Gold100. That is the promo code, and you can get $100 off the 30-day soccer all-access package that goes normally for $199. So that'll cover you for the next 30 days. Guys, hit that like button. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
How much do you want to pay for the NFL and college football season? You decide how much you want to save. Right now, WagerTalk is offering their lowest price for the 2021 NFL and college football seasons. From now through the start of the regular season, we are offering special early bird pricing, but these prices will increase by $20 per sport and $30 for the college football and NFL combo every week until the season kicks off. Save up to $200 this week by buying your favorite WagerTalk capper for the package, and remember, the longer you wait, the less you save.